Captain Marshmallow. Wow. Dinor. A. Leave people alone. Let them walk. Get your booty butt over here. Get your booty butt over here, boy. Hey. Come here. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Come here. No, I don't want to hear it. Come here. Good morning. Yeah, see, why are you being a jerk? Her dog wasn't being a jerk. Kind of miss Jim Ass. I can send you to him if you want. Would you like me to send you to Jim Ass? I have this incredible ability to send people back in time to 2015. So if you'd like me to do that for you, just let me know. Yeah, D's out here spoiling for a fight for no reason this morning. Ever had to get a COVID test? Currently waiting for my results. No, I have not had to get a COVID test. I am fully vaccinated now. Not that that matters totally, but I still have not had to have a COVID test. Paul, what's the worst item on your daily checklist for each of the jobs you've had in your life? Okay, the worst item on my daily checklist for each job that I've had in my life. Okay, so the first job I ever had, I worked at a place called CRA in Biola, California. I was 15 years old. I was working under the table because my dad's friend ran CRA. So I got a little nepotism job there. And I was a 15-year-old kid working with a bunch of Hispanic dudes who spoke no English. The toughest part about my day, honestly, was starting it, like walking to the pile. Because my job was to stand as this shit called cullet, which is just ground up chunks of glass. It's like they take glass bottles and they grind it up so there's no sharp edges on it. It's just, that's called cullet. And that's used, you pour that into a furnace, you make more bottles with it. So at CRA, my job was to stand at the end of a conveyor belt with cullet coming off of it, and it would slowly but surely pile up over the day. And I was to pick metal and ceramic out of it. That was my job. So that was what I did all day. Second job that I ever had was Wendy's. And I don't know. Wendy's was a pretty chill job, honestly. I can't really remember any negativity about it. I mean, it sucked. It got like real fast. It got like real fast during the rushes and stuff, and I was the grill man. But I liked that. I don't know why cleaning the grill was probably the worst part of the day. Next job after that was Blockbuster. My worst part of the routine at Blockbuster was putting movies away. I hated it. It was a huge, it's like a huge part of my day was taking movies out of the bins that people had dropped off overnight, or out of the bins behind that people would drop their movies in as they came back. And I'd get those out, stack them up, and take them out and like fucking put them behind the right box so they could be rented again. It was the worst shit in the world. Then after Blockbuster, when did I work? All right. After Blockbuster, my first job after that was MCI WorldCom, doing phone tech support. And the worst part of my day was sitting down in my cubicle and hearing that first ding. It just would like make you want to throw up because you knew you were never going to stop. Ding means you've got an incoming call that you're supposed to take. So I did that, and then I got the job at Starbucks. My worst part of the day at Starbucks was just crossing my fingers that everybody that was supposed to come on shift while I worked came on shift. That was the worst thing that could happen to me at Starbucks. We had, tough days, like busy days, crazy days. Those are all dealable, but like when somebody doesn't show up, it's like you're just short-staffed and it sucks. So just like hoping that everybody showed up was the worst part of my day there. The school district. The worst part of my days at the school district were once again the very beginning. I would get to work. I would go to whatever school site I knew I was going to be working at least for the first part of the day. I would go to whatever my little closet office was. Usually there was a little thing called the tech closet. That was the office for the tech guy. Just piles of crap and a little desk. And I would set my computer up in there, and I would open up my email and my help request and my help desk shit. And I would just see it like just giant swaths of shit that had come in over the night. And I would sit there for about 10 minutes and plan my day out. And that was the worst part of my day. Was like going down the list of like, all right, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and then I'm going to get in the car, and I'm going to head to this site, and I'm going to do this, 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 and this. I'm going to get in the car, and I head to this site, and I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and then if I can finish that before the end of the day, I'll come back to the first site, and I'll do this, this, and that. You know what I mean? It was basically that. And it sucked. It was just basically looking down the barrel of a day that was going to be crazy, and, you hope that you can just fix whatever problem quickly so that you can move on to the next one and clear somebody's help tickets because they're just rolling in constantly. And you never get there. So that was the worst part of that job, for sure. The fact that, like, you never were able to dig yourself out. But I guess that's the point of having a help desk person, is that, if they ever were to dig themselves out, then you wouldn't need a help desk person. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Put in my 2 weeks, but this job weighs heavy on my mental health. I hate it here. Sorry, bro. Well, at least you put in your 2 weeks. You're a short timer. That's what we call you. You're a short timer, man. Yeah, it's an early morning. You doing good? You doing swell? Haven't slept, still wide awake, huh? Oh. Doing quite nice, I must say, good sir. I'm glad to hear that. I need to ask you guys at the beginning of these how you're doing every once in a while. Makes me happy to hear that people are okay. You know what I mean? I know shit's rough. How am I? I'm okay. I'm okay. I slept a lot last night. I've been having to take like Benadryl at night, which I'm one of those people that Benadryl, like, it works to help calm down my sinus shit, but it also puts me to fucking bed. Did I burn my eyelash? Oh no, I just have eyeball crusties, bro. I just woke up and I didn't get all the eyeball crusties out, that's all. It's just a little bit of sleepy deepy crust. My fucking eyelashes, they're so fucking long. It's almost impossible to get them clean. Fuck it. What type of weed am I smoking this morning? GMO cookies. It's a indica dominant. Ariel, I tried, but I could not make heads or tails. Slurricane, yeah. GMO cookies, yeah. It's like the strain that I'm smoking tested at 32. Do you have double eyelashes? I don't know. Do I? I don't know what to look for. I have long ass eyelashes. That's all I know. These crusties. Get out of there, you. It's okay, Ariel. I understand. Yeah, I mean it's definitely above what I usually smoke. Like, I usually smoke mids. I'm perfectly happy with like 20%, 25%. Like, that type of shit is fine for me. But this last time I ordered, I decided to try some top shelf shit. So this GMO cookies is by Crew, but it's their private reserve shit. Their tops or whatever. And I've always wanted to try one of these like celebrity weeds, and so I ordered some Ice Cube Good Day Kush. I haven't tried that yet. I'm saving that one for a rainy day. Do you have a bunch of eyelashes? Well, you can see. Like, I'll just let you look, Ingrid, and you can tell me. Like, I have long eyelashes. I don't know if it's double lashes. I don't know how to look for that. I don't know what the sign of that is. But I do have a lot of eyelashes. They end up in my fucking face a lot, in my eyeballs. And every once in a while, like in my mouth, I'll get an eyelash. That's always fun. Appears the left eye has longer lashes than the right eye. I mean, it might just be the angle. But you might be right. See, there you go. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. I just have long eyelashes. Yeah, I'm lit from this direction, so I would imagine that the crust makes it stand out more. Yeah, dude. natural mascara. I haven't tried the cube yet, but thinking about saving that for when the boys come to visit, which is not that far in the future. I'm pretty fucking stoked about that. All of the boys are coming. All of the ladies are coming. Nah, man, there's gonna be no resin today. We'll smoke the resin when we're finished with this round of weed. Stevie coming. All the boys. So Stevie's gonna be here at the pad. Taylor and Scotty, TJ, Chelsea. Everybody gonna be chilling here at the pad for a day. Then we're gonna make a little road trip, see my mom, hang out with her, do some swimming, get some barbecuing done, just hang out, drink, and have a little good time. Then we're gonna head to the coast for a little while. Like a little team building exercise. We haven't seen each other in so fucking long. So we're gonna just hang out at the coast, do some beach stuff. And then we're going to LA to shoot some shit. We got studio time, you know. So it's a working vacation. But I can't wait. It's gonna be nice. Will, what would you say if I told you that that's what we're going to LA to shoot? What would you tell me if I told you that that's what we're headed to LA to shoot? You would be elated, would you? Ha 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 ha. We'll be elated. We will be filming an entire campaign over the course of 4 long shoots in LA of Dank D&D. And we will be, I may be revealing a little much to you guys with this, but I like to share with my Highdeology audience. We will be cutting up the original Dank D&Ds and releasing them episodically somewhere, whether it's on the Deep Fat Fried channel or a brand new channel just for Dank D&D. TJ told you last night. Well, that's good then. Then I can feel free to tell the rest of you. Loose lips sink ships. How we'll be handling the set situation. So we've rented studio time. The studio has a setup with 3 cameras and mics for everybody that's playing, and we'll be sitting around a table with a, you know, D&D mat out and stuff, and we'll have different angles on people. Most of the magic is going to be done in editing. So we're shooting in a pretty standard looking podcast studio. We came to realize that setting up these temporary shooting environments for Dank D&D was beyond our fucking ability. We were just not able to get the camera angles right. The rooms just weren't right that we were trying to use, and these podcast studios are set up perfectly for that shit. So we've got studio time booked. And then, yeah, those raw files, all the angles of the raw recording that day are going to be, you know, blasted out. Are we shooting in Rogan's old studio? I don't think so. No, this is, we're talking about LA here, so there's like a million recording studios that you book studio time at, and we found one that worked for us. So that'll be happening in July. You guys will not notice anything going on because of our new system. So as we are all doing that, you know, shows and everything will be released as usual. But while that's going on, we will be in LA filming some content. So that should be cool. Oh. Sorry, I probably just passed that along to everybody. Shit, that, you know what that means? That means I need to go get the coffee that I started right at the beginning of this. I'm gonna go do that. It's coffee time. It's coffee time, D. And you want to go inside too. You ready to go back to bed now? Ready to go back to bed? That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Well, with Dank D&D, we're doing something that a lot of these other D&D podcasts are not doing. I homebrewed this whole setting. I homebrewed this whole system. So I've just kind of taken Pathfinder and bastardized it and changed rules around and eliminated rules where I wanted to and created a very basic homebrew system, which opens the whole world up to infinite possibility, basically, because I want the players to help participate in the building. So we had a big meeting the other day. The guys are finalizing their characters. We had a big like character development meeting, and I told them, you know, as you go into this, like, all right, I'm finalizing my 2 characters because I want each of them to roll up 2 characters in case one dies. I said, you know, when it comes to these characters, I want you to try and, or at least allow yourself to think outside of the box in terms of race or class or whatever. Homebrew is the way to go. Yeah, I mean, well, we were inspired by the Gary Gygax quote, which is the only rules of D&D is that there are no rules to D&D. So all these rule monger types of people, they're gonna hate our show. I mean, absolutely, fundamentally hate our show because we don't We don't use the super complex combat mechanics. We don't use the, super deep skill check system. We do skill checks. We do combat. We have combat abilities, but it's all very much free form. And to be frank with you, as a DM, I decide on the fly when something dies. It's not based on a static amount of hit points. When I feel that the player characters have taken enough punishment and doled out enough punishment on a creature for it to be dead, then it dies. And if somebody does some insane critical hit or whatever, I let it die quicker. You know what I mean? So I told them, to open their minds. I don't even think I would want to play DM not, or play Dank D&D not being a DM, to be honest with you. I really don't think I would have as much fun as a player character in a D&D campaign. I really enjoy the ability to inhabit all kinds of different characters, and the ability to kind of lead people along on this story that I've created for them. That's what draws me to it. I'm really not all that interested in playing it from the other side. It might be a good learning experience to play through a whole game. It might give me some insight, but I'm not a rule monger DM, but I'm a very black box DM. So a lot of people hate that. You don't get to see the mechanics behind what's going on. I decide on the fly what kind of rolls you've got to make, what number you've got to beat with your stat bonus. It's not, I don't have this book with a bunch of rolls on it. You know what I mean? I decide on the fly how hard or how easy a task should be for you. I decide on the fly how the rules apply to your particular attempt to use your skill. I decide on the fly how many hit points a fucking creature has. Sometimes I decide on the fly how many creatures are in an encounter based on how well they led up to it. We had a rules lawyer who tried to use his love of Matt Mercer to influence the whole group into being more like Critical Role. Matt is an amazing DM. I'm, learning and chilling. Yeah. That's the whole thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that people play very rules focused, very numbers focused, very math focused games of Dank or Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or whatever. Dude, if that's your way of playing, have fun. But us as a crew, we've developed a love for the story and not so much a love for the sitting around for an hour figuring out all the fucking damage resolves and shit. And so I've simplified that sort of stuff. I've simplified the combat in my homebrew system to make it fast and kinetic and fun for the player characters, to give them tools that they can use and to give them foes that they will challenge those tools. But it's a simplified and stripped down, almost video game-like version of combat. And I've added complexity to the role play requirements of the game. So much of what happens is determined by these player characters. And the only way that I allow them to influence that is through role play decision. Oh, fuck that. I would never, ever DM a game where combat lasted more than fucking half an hour. And I'm talking about even maybe a big boss fight maybe might go over half an hour. But like a half hour combat to me is the max I even want to fucking deal with. And so it's streamlined, it's fast, it's kinetic. Like I said, very much more like a video game than a strategic game. You know what I mean? Each one of you has a few skills that you have a one-time use of based on your class or spells. You're fighting 2 or 3 foes that are going to challenge you. They're going to hit you. They're going to do some damage. They're going to throw shit at you that you don't see coming. You got to adapt. You know what I mean? It's that type of shit. The complexity of D&D or Pathfinder combat is fine, but For me, I want it quick. I want that combat to be quick and fun and kinetic. I want people to look forward to combat sessions, not like, oh no, another I feel like that happens a lot of time in D&D games where people are like, oh no, a fucking combat, because they know it's going to be 45, 50 minutes of fucking skill checks and rolls and very little role playing. I don't like that shit. So my homebrewed system is that way. What do you say to people who say that unions protect lazy and terrible employees? I would say to those people that they have a misconception about the American working person and that they should address that. Forget the -6 modifying roll with foresight. Oh yeah. I don't do that shit. You know what I mean? It's D20s and maybe D3s or D4s for fucking other types of rolls and stuff. But like, I'm not armor class, fucking resist, all this shit. It for me, that's all done in my head. The armor class is represented by how much fucking punishment this being can soak up and how much it can deal out to somebody else whose armor class may be low or high. And so I take all that into account, and I try and create an encounter that challenges people. I try and create tiered encounters, so if people do really good or are very smart with their role play, they get an easier encounter. If they're stupid and they blunder themselves into an ambush, they get a tough encounter. I try and make the tough encounters that could, maybe not should, but could theoretically kill someone. There's got to be something at stake in the game. You got to be able to die. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I don't even really have a name for the world that I've built, but it's got geography, it's got towns, it's got ruins, it's got deserts, it's got mountains, it's got forests, and all of these things are kind of geographically locatable if you watch the original Dank D&Ds. So I've started to create this map in my mind, at the very least. I'm not a map maker, so I can't really do it, but in my mind, at the very least, I've created this map of the area, and that's their play field. You know what I mean? They can travel within the confines of that predefined map. They don't know what the confines are, and if they test it, I'm happy to invent some other part of the map. That's the great thing about being a DM that goes more loose with it, right? Is that if one of my player characters has a really smart, interesting idea, like why are we limited only to fucking going to the ocean route or going the mountain route? Why can't we go a cave route? I know there's got to be caves in these mountains. And another DM, because they didn't create any cave encounters, would go, nope, there's no caves. What do you mean there's no caves? It's mountains. Of course there's caves. You guys want to try and find a fucking underground route around this? Let's do it. You know what I mean? But that requires me to, while they're doing their thing, be making up on the fly in my head and taking little notes about, all right, they're going to run into troglodytes. There's going to be this trap. You know what I mean? So as they blunder their way into it, it feels like it was something that was created for them. Yeah, see, world building to me is different. I understand that, like, a lot of homebrew folks, they will go into insane detail on world building. And it's like, you want this, that, and the other thing. I make shit up on the fly. Like, the entire world of Dank D&D was basically made piecemeal by what the player characters did, what they achieved, what choices they made. And I expanded it. It started, if you go back and actually watch Dank D&D, the map was very small. It was the little town of Mosswater, this little kind of rundown backwater town. and the woods surrounding it. And in those woods was a temple, like a ruined old temple that they had to explore. And that was it. That was their map in the first Dank D&D. Well, in the second Dank D&D, the map expanded and included a cove town that was on the sea, cliff faces along the shoreline, a mountain route, and a dwarven fortress of Kuldaraz or Goldarock, depending on how stoned I was. Nobody ever called me on it either. That was my favorite part. I kept changing the name of the ancient dwarven fortress that they were going to go to. I started out saying it was Kuldarock. That's what I'd written down in my notes. And as I went on, it became Goldaraz, and nobody noticed. But whatever. Dwarven fortress there, and then in the third one, their map expanded to include a giant expansive desert with a huge city at the center of it. And the last fucking, the last area that they were in was that giant city in the middle of the desert. And that was their playfield. So, you know, all of those things still exist in the world that I'm putting this next campaign in. Brand new characters, whole new kind of angle, I guess. Schrodinger's DM, yeah. I mean, that's just the way I have to do it, though. Because I want the player characters to have fun. That is my 110% goal with this shit. If they're bored, then I'm failing. If they're annoyed, then I'm failing. If they're having a good time and feeling like they're making progress and feeling like they have an obsession or an investment in what's happening, I'm doing my job. So my prep for these is, like when I prep for these Dank D&D sessions, which I'm doing now. I'm in the process now that they're finalizing their characters and getting them to me. The next 2 weeks of my life will be, you know, not totally solely, but very much dedicated to just templating out a bunch of NPCs, tiered combat encounters, big bads, big goods, little kind of I call them wayfinder NPCs. Like NPCs that are there to give them their options so that I don't have to talk to them as a DM. You know what I mean? Like NPCs that know a little about the area. So I got to find Wayfinder NPCs, utility NPCs. Once I've got all those done, then I start going through the Pathfinder Monster Codex and picking out ones that I think are interesting, swapping around their abilities, buffing their base hit points and stuff, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? So that's basically my prep. Like, it's in terms of what I need as a DM. And then the last part of the prep, well, the part of the prep that I've already done is coming up with a very basic overarching narrative for them. I know where they're going to start. I know where they're going to end. I know some of the things that they're going to be able to experience along the way. I know, that, but as far as like what they're going to choose within that breadth of experience, I have no idea. So I can't over prepare, which leaves me in a position of having to be able to come up with these things on the fly, which I just happen to have a facility for. I'm good at improvisation. My brain can create a whole little fucking town just like that. The streets, I can hear the bells, I can smell the horse crap, I can see the fucking pimply guy leading the horse cart, I can see the whorehouse on the street. can see the street sweepers and the drunks. You know what I mean? It's very easy for me to, you're in a town. The next run that we're going to be doing, unless the guys have some huge exception to it, and I don't think they're going to because I've pitched it to them already and they have already basically agreed, is going to be in the world of paranoia. Paranoia is a heavy role play kind of system based on far futurism, where, you know, the entirety of the earth is basically covered by a giant city. That city is run by an AI overlord that has gone quietly insane. And so it's, you know, it makes all kinds of illogical decisions. And you, when I say you, the player characters, play troubleshooters who are in the employ of the insane AI that runs the giant city. And the insane AI will get you together as troubleshooters and give you a task. And that task is filled with, you know, just ridiculous, illogical complexities and weird barriers that make no sense. You know, like a really basic example will be like the AI will give you a task in a sector that requires red level clearance, but you only have green level clearance cards. So how are you going to get to the play? You know what I mean? And the AI is not going to provide you with your red level clearance cards. Why? Because it's insane. Because it doesn't care about the system of clearance that it's set up. It doesn't make any sense anyway. So you've got to find a way to sweet talk or blow a hole through the gate or kill people or find a way around that barrier, only to find yourself wrapped up in yet another barrier. So one of my favorite things about the paranoia system is that the way that your character develops is basically driven by what's called your collection of perversity points. That those are doled out by the DM when somebody comes up with an incredibly strange, weird, perverse, creative way to get around a problem. They will earn a perversity point that can be spent on a mutation or to increase a stat or whatever the fuck, right? So that's the idea. That'll be the next thing we play. We'll be playing some paranoia, for sure. I've been reading up on paranoia. I'm gonna homebrew a paranoia system as well. I don't like some of the complexities, some of the over complexities of paranoia, so I'm going to homebrew paranoia as well. I'm going to rip out what I like. I'm going to rip the setting, or at least the the concept for the setting, and I'm going to make my own game of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just have a shitload of fun being the DM. Yeah, it's a death sentence to be a mutant, but almost everyone is a mutant that has to hide their mutation. You know what I mean? I had telekinesis as a secret power. We're in the middle of a gunfight, and I made a loose pipe fall on a guy and kill him by making it look like I shot it. See, perversity point for you, my friend. Yeah, I've actually never played a game of D. Well, that's not true. We played a game of D&D that Stevie DM'd in LA when we did the first DFF LA meetup. We did a big get together of all the DFF core members and family members and stuff. We did this big ass D&D game. So I got a taste of it there. We did a whole night of D&D where I was a player character. And oh yeah, you were there. That's right, Marshall. I forgot Marshall was sitting in on that. That's cool. Marshall didn't feel like playing. But that was our test game to see if we could have fun playing it. Stevie's a really good DM. Stevie is a world builder DM. Stevie is a rule monger DM. He's really great with the rules. He's really great at knowing when to be a stickler and when not to be. Stevie's a great DM. I would easily, play a game under Stevie probably. But see, for me, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm best served in the DM seat. I feel like when you're talking about making content that you want to be entertaining as well as fun for the people playing, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's the chair I need to be in with my skill set or whatever the fuck. Whatever you call it. But yeah, anyway, I'm stoked about that. Oh, see, and that's the thing. I'm a trained improvisational actor, so it serves me so fucking well as a DM. Rotating design would be interesting. You're only the DM for an hour each. That would be nice. You'd have to definitely brew a system around it, but allowing each DM to kind of like take over and improvise the next area, and you've got to step into the boots of a rotate, like even the characters rotate. That'd be interesting. Everybody just kind of clockwise rotates through character and DM. So you start with your characters and your DM, and then the dude sitting on the left of the DM, the dark elf rogue or whatever, he becomes the DM, and then the DM becomes the cleric, and the cleric becomes the wizard, and the wizard becomes the warrior, and the warrior becomes the dark elf rogue. See? Another system that we're looking at, but I haven't looked super deep into it, is the Call of Cthulhu, I think it's called. It's exactly what you'd think it is. People roll up different characters with different stats, and all of them are brought together to try and crack a chthonic mystery. Some death cult in the city, some fucking this, that, or the other thing. I'm also thinking about homebrewing a Dune system. See, once I've gotten my feet super wet homebrewing, Pathfinder, homebrewing in Paranoia, and maybe even homebrewing up a Call of Cthulhu session, that's a ways in the future for me. But after I've got that under my belt as a DM, I really think that homebrewing some of my own game systems would be super easy. So like a Dune-based game, or like a Star Wars based game. I would love like a Star Wars based role playing game where they had to play as the Empire, like various Empire troops or whatever. And you're sent on different missions on different planets to destroy rebel facilities or secure an artifact or whatever the fuck. And I think you could do a similar thing with like a concept for a game. You could call it like away team or whatever. For fucking Star Trek. You know what I mean? Where you each of you rolls up kind of a specialist, and that specialist becomes an away team for a small starship that responds to emergencies or whatever the fuck, and you're thrown into these. Shadowrun is also bomb too. Yeah, I would love to do like a totally stripped down homebrewed Shadowrun run as well. Just kind of steal the aesthetic, but make a whole different fucking just make a whole different kind of setting, I guess. Make my own city, make my own outskirts, make my own sewers, make my own, power structures and gangs and all of that shit. Ayo, Paul, how goes it? It goes. Yeah, I mean, if eventually, maybe, I don't know. Like at this point, I have like a rudimentary map that I drew with just symbology, just so I have a reference point. You know what I mean? Having like an actual like Tolkien-esque Middle Earth type of map made would be cool, but I know that we're moving settings after this next one, so it's like we may end up coming back to the setting. Oh yeah, dude. I would love to do an RPG where, you know, people are in the 40K universe, like a Space Marine RPG or an Inquisitor RPG, where uh everybody starts out as interrogators who work for eccentric inquisitors, and they're brought together to go on some mission to hunt down a rogue enemy psyker or some shit. Rogue Trader would be a good role in 40K. I mean, whatever. I don't know. We're going down Nerd Alley a little too far, I think, right now. I think we've been in Nerdsville, and I think we just took a dark, sharp turn down Nerd Alley, and that's not good. That means that people are going to start fucking tuning out. It's okay to chill in Nerdsville for a while, but then you got to get the fuck out. No. No, we're not going to keep going, because I'm actually starting to feel it now. Like, and I'm a fucking huge nerd, and I'm starting to feel like we've walked down a dead end, seedy nerd alley, and that's it. We only go down Crab Alley in these parts, yeah. Paul leads people down the road and says, I think we have walked down the wrong way. Well, I mean, look, bro. I showed you the road, and then the little twists and turns we took after that was with you. I mean, Nerdsville is cool. Like I said, dude, I live a lot of my days in Nerdsville, but sometimes you just gotta. You gotta know when to not be nerdy. Marshall and I, well, Marshall and Beauregard about to drop another song. And of course, I got a little sneak preview. And oh my goodness gracious, people are just not ready. Dude, I'll tell you what. I've got to get. I hate to do this, but I am going to try and take a page out of TJ's book, I think, and start trying to like schedule out my day in terms of like when I work on these side projects and shit. Because I'm telling you, man, me and Marshall work so well together. Musically speaking, it's like we're very much on the same wavelength. I feel like that because he'll throw me a beat. You guys remember? Well, some of you might. Marshall posted like a little preview of a song he was working on, and it was a little clip of him rapping and shit over the beat, and I was like, oh fuck. Well, I asked him like, dude, can I jump on that beat? And he was like, oh yeah. He threw me the beat. I woke up the next day, wrote and performed my part, sent it to him, and by the end of that day, the song was pretty much done. Same, dude. I feel the same way, especially in music. I hate collaborating with people, but working with Marshall is just fucking easy because I really feel like we vibe similarly. Not completely the same though, because that can be annoying too. It's like Marshall's got his own vibe, obviously. I've got my own vibe, and they meld in such a pleasing and easy way when we work together on music and shit that I don't know. I just like it. It's a lot of fun. Oh, dude, all of Marshall's shit kicks ass. This album that he's been releasing is fucking amazing. Like, just every cut on it is great. And you really see, like, the breadth of style and presentation that is behind, Marshall's fucking character. And I don't know, man. It's just, it's kind of like a showcase of Marshall not giving a fuck what people think and making what he wants, which is, it's exhilarating to see shit like that as an artist because so many people are trying to make this or trying to make that. And Marshall's just unabashedly inspired by this, that, or the other thing, and he runs. That's what I like about him. That's what I like about his music. Like, I feel like now, especially now, more than ever in Marshall's career, he knows who he is. That's not to denigrate the early stuff, but I think Marshall was finding out who he was in that early shit. And I feel like this stuff he's releasing now, Marshall knows who he is. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how it starts, but it just shows growth as an artist. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's no denigration. I hate everything. I still have that, dude. I bought one of those at our meetup. I've still got my copy of I Hate Everything. I still spin that shit. That's not to denigrate it. I just listen to it in contrast with what you're releasing now. And I just see so much more willingness to explore those different pockets of your kind of expression, a willingness to defy your own sound. You know what I mean? Which is fucking something that so many bands fall into the trap of, right? They develop a sound and then they're just like, okay, every song has to kind of sound like this. Fucking, that's not you. You know what I mean? But it's not so dissonant that it feels like it doesn't fit on the same albums. You're the glue that holds the fucking kind of sound together. You're the constant in this different shifting soundscape that you're creating. Yeah. It's just like watching the growth of an artist. Like that's, dude, Marshall's whole, and this is probably, of course, colored by the fact that I know the guy, I've met the guy, worked with the guy for a while now, right? And, you know, I admit setting that bias aside is pretty hard. But Marshall's whole story as a musician just intrigues me. You know what I mean? Because I've seen him go through this kind of arc where he's dabbling in it, then he's pursuing it, and then he gets stymied and he feels like fuck this and blah 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 blah, or he feels like held back, and then instead of not, you know, succumbing to that, he pushes forward and just keeps making and making and making, and every fucking roadblock you can imagine gets thrown up in front of dude. He just goes over, under, and through, and now he's slowly but surely releasing this album that fucking, to me, tells that tumultuous story of how the album was created. It's, you can hear that angst in it, you can hear that sadness in it, you can hear that fucking double middle finger up in the air in it, the anger and the, you know, I just love it, dude. It's I mean, yeah, who cuts their own face off? Let's be real. I wouldn't have thought I would vibe with a cutoff face until you presented it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You gave the people something they didn't even know they wanted by cutting your own fucking face off, bro. But like I said, dude, not to tease it too much, but me and Marshall got a heater in the pipes. One of those ones, I know Marshall worked on the front part of this song, and I just happened to, I'm glad I did too. I just happened to fucking catch a fleet he posted, and it was him, you know, flowing on the beat, and I was like, ooh. And I just asked him, I was like, hey man, let me jump on that. He's like, cool. Sent it to me. I jumped on it. It's done, man. And it's fire. Like, it's really good. Shit, man. Marshall, is that the drip beat? It is, right? Or it's it's partially the drip beat, right? I think it is. It's not? Yeah, okay. The opening riff. Got it. But yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Drip is way more staccato. It's it's got that. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I love that, by the way. I love how you're experimenting with these punk hip hop beats. Oh man. Oh man. That's why I had to jump on that shit. That's why I had to hop on that shit. Trap drums. Yep. Oh, dude, there's a thing that you did too that I was listening last night when I first was talking to you and you first sent me the preview. I was like listening on my phone. I went in my room and put the headphones on, and that bass hit has this sound that's like that little drip. I wish I could do it. That little whoop that comes with the dude. It's like that little touch, bro. Whoop has that little like whoop sound. It's beautiful. Such a little touch. Whoop, whoop. Dude, doing falsetto hurts my voice. I think I've blown my fucking voice out. Got like throat pain when I do falsetto. That's not good. Huh. The sound Jack Nicholson made when playing the Joker. Which one? Oh yeah, he made the little boop. Donnie Darko when I rolled out. Dome so good, call it timeout. That movie looks so goofy that the disturbing stuff becomes extra disturbing. What movie? Yeah, that rooster is filibustering. I heard the chickens this morning, like early in the morning, and I usually don't hear the chickens like clucking. So I think there might have been a fox situation this morning. Might have got ourselves a little foxuation. Fox might have grabbed a chicken. It'll happen. Here's the proof. Chicken skull, da na 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 na, chicken skull, da na 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 na, chicken skull. Oh yeah, it's a chicken skull for sure. 100% confirmed chicken skull. They get clucky when laying. That might have been it too. Maybe they're just laying their eggs this morning or some shit. But I haven't heard them before do it like that. They sounded like distressed. Like they were like, I was like, oh. Chicken skull. Thank you, Cloud Massacre, for the 99 cents. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you, sir. Cock-a-doodle-dee. Dude, Lord of Ducks, Duck Andromeda has like 6 chicks. 6 little ducklings. All of them little pickles. I knew Pickle was the Mac Daddy. Those of you that follow Lord of Duck, go look at his account. 6 little pickles. Six little pickles all in a row. Oh yeah, dude. Pickle got all the way in, dude. His dick made its way through the vagina maze. Hit the spot. I don't think he has a YouTube channel. I think Lord of Duck, I think they only just do like Twitter. Lord of Duck. Lord of Duck. Yeah, sorry about that. It's the Lord that throws me off. So I went with the they. I don't see Lord of Duck all that often anymore. Lord of Duck. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Oh, okay. Cool. Lord of Duck's YouTube. Oof, man. Man, oh man, oh man. Whoa, cup, please. You ever try to get a tan? No. Siggy, no. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. It's a man-sized hit you took, dog. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be tan, dude. Thinking about getting involved in the school bus drivers union locally, but I heard bad thing about them, that they protect drivers that do disgusting things to kids, so I ain't sure, man. I doubt that. I'd go ahead and join the union. That sounds like anti-union propaganda. I hate summer. Just got inside after watering the gardens, almost passed out. Had to literally lay on the floor by the air vent, going in and out of consciousness for a bit. Yeah, summer sucks. Be careful there, squid diddly. Yeah, I'll get a moon tan. Can you get a moon tan? I bet you can. Yeah, you need like a tank that you can travel in, Squid. Does it snow in California? Yeah. Not where I'm at. It snowed one time in this area when I was a child. It's a very rare occurrence, but the Sierra Nevada mountain range is about, I don't know, 70 miles that way. Coastal range is about 70 miles that way. So yeah, where there are mountains, there gonna be snow. Not much. The Sierra Nevadas are at 2% of their normal snowpack this year in California. Gotta love that shit. We're having a mercifully cool morning here where I'm at. So that's nice. Oh, my neck is a fucking mess. I don't think my hair will ever go white, unfortunately. I think I'm going to be like cinnamon, salt, and pepper gray, pretty much. Ugh, dude, I feel like I want like a 98-pound Asian masseuse to just walk on my entire body. Is that a bad thing? Is that cultural appropriation or whatever? I want like a 98-pound Asian masseuse to literally use me like a fucking treadmill. Because I think it would actually feel pretty good. Is that a bad thing? Do they have to be Asian? I mean, no, I guess not. It's more the weight factor. Like I need somebody that weighs like that much weight. Like not much more than like 100 pounds. Otherwise they're crushing the life out of me. But I want somebody to like walk on my back. Like dig their heels in it and the whole nine, dude. Walk all over me. I wish to be stepped upon. Step on me, please. My boy Hardware Hank has a 90-pound Rottweiler. No thanks. Pass. Do massages actually do anything? Yes. Massages are like actual medicinal procedures. They relieve tension, they release endorphins. They're good for you. Getting a massage is A-okay. Yeah, dude, a wheelchair-bound squid would not be very useful. Chiromancy, yeah. I don't really like being touched either. Like that's the truth. Like I like giving hugs and stuff, but like having somebody's hands all over me and shit, that's something that's reserved for, you know, Amelia. It's not that it feels inherently sexual. It's just like uncomfortable for me to be pawed at. Yeah, dude, rolling around all fucking squiddly. Lame ass tentacles flopping in the breeze. Yeah, you and everybody else, dude. Everybody thinks that, you know, their little rub and tug is the only one in America. It's like, dude. Dude. Bruh. The rub and tug is an American institution. I like hugs. Hugs to me feel really good. I like a good handshake too. Not like a flex, like I'm trying to get one up on you type of handshake, but a nice warm, hey, how you doing handshake. I like that kind of physical contact. I just don't like people pawing at me and shit. You know, I don't like to be just touched and touched and touched and pawed at, poked at, and prodded at and shit. That shit bothers me. Like even in a relationship, I can get to the point where I'm just like, oh. It's nothing against the person. It's just like sometimes I just don't want to be touched, and that does kind of prevent me from really seeking out massage all that often. Yeah, I like gentle back rubs and scratches and shit. I like that shit too. That feels nice. Hell no, dude. My dad taught me how to give a handshake when I was like 8, 9 years old, bro. It's firm. You got to have a firmness to your handshake. You've got to receive that hand properly. You can even put your hand over the top of both of your hands if you want to be extra warm with it. Pat the other person's arm as you're shaking your hand if you want to be extra warm with it. That's a good fucking contact handshake. Bam! Hell no giving people the limp fish, the wet fish, dude. You don't vice grip it because, well, you can, but you have to understand a handshake is like a flex, right? And a mutually respectful handshake has a firmness to it, but it doesn't necessarily have like right here. I'm squeezing about as hard as I would squeeze in a handshake. You can see my fingers ain't turning purple, my knuckles aren't turning white, but there's a firmness to this grip. You know, I can't just rip this apart with my muscles. You know, that's what I'm talking about. There's a firmness to this grip. You got to find that medium firm. Now, you want to, like, if it's a power play type of deal, power squeeze, man. Then your knuckles are going to start getting white. Then it's a little uncomfortable in that handshake. Not hurting, but just a flex. You're flexing that other person's hands. You're pushing them bones together with that fucking handshake. That's the vice grip handshake. And you do that in a power play situation. But a nice warm handshake, good and firm, You can feel them giving you the squeeze back, hopefully. There's nothing worse than getting the damp fucking, like you go in for a handshake and the person wants to give you one of these. Like, man, that to me, you may think I'm wrong for this, but I measure a person by a handshake. And that's just something that was drilled into me as a kid. That's why my dad taught me how to do it. You measure another person by what they hand you. You know what I mean? They hand you a wet, damp fish. Doesn't matter if it's fast. You don't got to hold a handshake forever. It can be a quick situation. I stopped shaking hands post-COVID. I love the look on people's hands. The look on them. Their hand goes like, the hand fits like this. You go in for a handshake like this, and once your palm, you can't shake hands with yourself, but that's a facsimile of it there, right? Once your palms are together, you give a mutual squeeze. Nobody's on top or bottom, right? It's very much, you have an equal lock on each other's hands, shake, shake, boom, boom, and you're done. Gently stroke the hand. Yeah, they put it out to you, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Shaking hands. That's how I learned how to shake hands. The twiddly little fingers. Well, the other guy going for the two-hander, that is a power move, but it's also like a bracing move, right? So the two-hander would be like, you got to imagine I got somebody else, and then you come over the top of that shit, and you know, it's you know what I mean? That can be a power move, or it can just be a sign of familiarity. Throw a little extra down on it. You give them both hands, you know what I mean? You're shaking that hand, and that can be a way to really thank somebody, too. It can mean a power move, or it can mean, oh, my God, dude, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. You know what I understand? Yeah, there's a total affection to it. But it can be a power move as well. You don't think you've ever done a two-hander? I do the two-hander. Like, when I'm seeing an old bro, yeah, I give the pound. We do daps a lot. Like, I dap my friends and shit. Dude, I love hanging out with my my uncle. The uncle that is the father of all my crazy cousins, because he is a high fiver, dude. He loves, like, when I say something hella funny, he'll bust up and lean in and do one of these to me every time. He's like, I love high fiving him, dude. He's the best, dude. Did the high five, the handshake hug? Oh yeah, you got to pull that in, tuck it. So you do this. You bring the hands in, but then there's this mutual pull towards one another. Your chest bump, right? Your chest bump, head, other dude's head is over here facing the other way. And then you reach your hand around the back like this, and you give it a pound on the back. You don't pat or rub the back, that's no bueno. You come in with the handshake, pull that shit in, bump, bump on the back. This on the back. No. No. Oh yeah, shoulder bump is like the quicker version of that. Shoulder bump is very much like you don't go chest to chest, so your heads are never really all that close. You're stepped a little farther apart. You bring it in, boom, boom, shoulder bump, hand around the back, pat, pat, what's up? That's when you slip a big kiss on the lips, or just loudly sniff the neck. Just go like all the way up the nape of their neck. Yeah, dude, the Biden finger munch. Walk up behind him like a big old grouper eating a worm at the bottom of the fucking silt. That picture is so fucking disturbing, bro. The way he's going after that goddamn finger just like a mindless beast. I wish I had somebody here to demonstrate. I had to teach TJ one time how to do like the dap shake too. Because there's a handshake that starts like this, goes like this, and then you pound, pound, pound. And it's all one smooth maneuver. If you know, you know. And I'm fucking dope at that. And you can feel it. Like you have to go with it. It's like bump, bump, dap, dap, bap. If you don't know that, I had to teach TJ that because he didn't know it. He didn't know how to go in for the bump, bump, or just the quick ass like where you snap it. Sometimes you don't even do the dap at the end. Sometimes it's just like bump, like that. You know what I mean? You guys ever done? You've done that one too, because that's another version of this, and you got to roll with it when somebody leads and somebody follows. Right? You go in for that. And at this moment right here, your brain has to make a fucking decision. Right? Is this a handshake? And no, it ain't, because dude's going like this. Dude's letting go and coming off like this. So you're going to catch it right here. But is this just going to be a one handshake, pound, dap, dap? Or is this going to be a fucking bump, bump, pull the snap? Do that all the time. You gotta know, dude. You gotta know. Those are common, man. Across the fucking nation, dude. Probably across the world. Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. I just snatched a fucking fly out of the air. That's gross. I'm gonna have to go wash my hands before I... Fuck you both. Piece of shit. Punk ass, bitch ass, whack ass flies. Dude. Let me just take a little second here and tell you guys, and I'm sure most of you know this, I fucking love TJ. Dude makes me laugh like no other. Was watching his Abandon Hope last night. He does, you know, the patrons only Abandon Hope. And he was responding to this conservative guy, and he was drunk. You know what I mean? He's hitting this bottle of wine like it's water, you know, and TJ's drunk. And he's like, man, eventually he gets to this point where he's not even listening to the guy anymore. And he's just talking about, like, how's this guy going to be a fucking voice for, like, a return to, like, manly conservatism? And he looks like a fucking toothpick. He's like, he looks like a little bitch. And at one point, he made an analogy that I just lost it. I just fucking lost it, bro. He was like, this dude, what did he say? He's like, this dude is softer than a dish of Jell-O on your hospital tray when you're sitting in the hospital recovering from ball surgery. I was like, man, I fucking love TJ, dude. I fucking love TJ. He's the greatest, man. Who doesn't love TJ? I don't want to know him. Oh, man. You gotta love him. I love that TJ just, like, pulls a whole cork out of a whole ass bottle of dinner wine or whatever and just sits there and drinks it like it's a fucking, like it's a Gatorade or something. He's just like, boom. Dude, Steven Crowder is not a dude that presents as hyper masculine. He dressed up as a relatively hot drag queen to go to a gym. Yeah, dude, he was working it way too well for a dude that's hyper masculine. I mean, he's trying to dress it up by putting his little detective gun holster over his shirt or whatever the fuck it is, but it's not working, dude. It's not. We've seen the true Steven Crowder. We've seen what lies beneath the surface, you know what I mean? And it's feminine. Nothing wrong with that. Every dude should be in touch with his feminine side. Steven Crowder's is just a little more pronounced than others, you know? Kind of a gym bro guy. Yeah. I mean, definitely there's nothing homoerotic going on in gyms. willing to bet dollars to donuts that Steven Crowder eventually goes left for a paycheck, although he's an egg. Also, he's an egg, the trans meaning. I don't know what the trans meaning of egg is. My issue with him personally, besides his awful political and social takes, is that the supposition were to believe he's in any way a comedian. Well, someone shows very clear signs of being trans but hasn't come out. I don't know about that. I don't want to go that far into supposing, Steven Crowder's sexuality, but I'm pretty sure that Steven Crowder would probably be into some pretty kinky shit in a vacuum. Or shit that he would consider kinky anyway. Yeah, man. There's definitely nothing homoerotic going on at gyms, bro. Nothing at all. Oy vey. Oh, man. I don't know if it's just early, but chat is it's been like pulling teeth today. People are just in this like passive state that is so fucking hard to deal with. Nothing you can do about it though. I mean, it's early. I know. It's the early morning. I know. I can't expect everybody to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm certainly not. I'm certainly not. Sometimes these morning sessions, though, people are ready to go. I think it's racist to use an accent typically associated with a specific racial minority. No. I think that intent means everything in those situations. Like for me to put on a Hispanic accent, for example, one that I'm pretty familiar with because I grew up around it. If I'm doing so in order to make fun of Hispanic people or to paint Hispanic people as lesser than me in some way, then the intent is racist, and thus the caricature or impersonation or whatever you'd call it is racist. If it's done just for the funds, if it's just being funny, just using it as a little character or a little flavor or whatever the fuck, I don't see any goddamn fucking problem with it. Like, impressionists have existed forever. I think, impression is the sincerest form of flattery. You know what I mean? You really have to study somebody and study an accent and study a way of being to pull off, that kind of an impression. So, I think it's the intent matters. If you're doing like the, oh yeah, massa, you need me to shine your shoes, kind of Uncle Tom type of thing, obviously. Right? But yeah, Senor Tomat is a good example. I'm using, like a Spanish accent for Senor Tomat, a bastardized Spanish accent. That obviously means no fucking disrespect to Hispanic people. It's just the flavor, that's his particular flavor. What's your take on wearing the garb of other cultures? People get really pissed off when a white person wears, say, a headdress, but I always wonder if it's harmful or not, really. Well, once again, like, it's not a black and white issue. When you're talking about something that has to do with race or culture, you have to 100% take intent into account. Now, having no ill intent doesn't necessarily excuse you, right? So, something like a white person dressing up in a headdress or some shit. Well, what auspices is it being done under? Is that person using it as a fashion statement? Or like what I did when I was a kid? I wore headdresses and Indian garb and that type of stuff, but it was in furtherance of learning about the Native Americans. I learned about, we would do these trips, excursions and shit, and learned how to make rope from vines and learned how to, hunt for frogs and hunt on the land and track animals. I learned how to identify bobcat, scat, and all this crazy shit, and it was, so there was really no ill intent involved in that. And at the end of it, I left having at least a better idea of some of the native culture that existed in the area that I lived before it was stamped out of existence. For the sake of argument, let's say it's an adult, and for personal fashion choice, like feathers and beads. I don't know. What do you think about white voice actors stepping down from roles to depict people of color, like the actor from... That's up to them, right? Like, maybe in the light of kind of how things are now, Hank Azaria saw his depiction of Apu as kind of culturally insensitive or whatever, and he felt like maybe there was an Indian actor that already had that accent that probably could play it. That totally makes sense to me. You know what I mean? There are people of all accents, all colors, and all sizes that are looking to be entertainers. And so if you've got a character that has a traditionally Indian affectation, why would you hire somebody that isn't Indian, Wouldn't it be better and funnier to have somebody that actually has that accent, has access to that accent organically? I don't know. See, I don't really understand all the nuances myself. I will tell you this, that oftentimes people that are freaking out about quote unquote cultural appropriation are people that aren't even part of that culture. I think it would be best for you to ask people from different cultures how they feel. Because I know for a fucking fact that Indian women, and when I say Indian, I mean the country of India, love when women of other cultures adopt some of their style. That part of Indian culture is flamboyant and beautiful and distinctive for a reason. And I happen to know for an absolute fucking fact that on the whole, Indian women could give a fuck less about a white woman or a black woman coming into their culture and buying a sari, you know what I mean, and wearing that shit. And so it's just like, is it an important part of Indian culture? Yeah. Do the people that take part in that cultural tradition care whether other people appreciate it and adopt it for their own? Fuck no, they don't. So intent matters, and the feelings of the people within that culture matter. Exactly, that's the point, Ingrid. Like, if somebody from within the Indian community, the American Indian community, or the Native American community, is looking at the way a person is conducting themselves and says, like, you know, this is really kind of like just a caricature, kind of like a, you know, a fucking minstrel show version of what my people practice, and it's kind of disrespectful. I kind of defer to that person. You know what I mean? Rather than the other way around. Personally believe the job of an actor is to become someone they're not, and if that be a voice change or makeup to look like a different race, if it's done respectfully, is that wrong? I mean, it depends, right? Yeah, I can think of some respectful, like the thing that comes to my mind all the time is when I think of, you know, an actor portraying somebody of a different race, but doing it in a way that I don't think was at all negative, is like Tropic Thunder, right? Robert Downey Jr. going through, you know, pigment treatments and shit and getting surgeries to become a black man to play a role. That's the whole point. The whole point is that he's ridiculous for doing that. So his portrayal is supposed to be this giant, glaring example of what white people think black people are. So, you know what I mean? Short Circuit. I mean, yeah, that is a good example. There's a white guy in Short Circuit that is in kind of brown face and, you know, playing an Indian guy, but it's not done disrespectfully. You know what I mean? It's not done to make that his race, that race of people out to be buffoons. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, they could have hired an Indian actor that has that accent that probably could have pulled it off, you know, but you know what I mean? Yeah, that actor also plays the Plague in Hackers. He's the big evil hacker guy. Hello there, Zero Cool. I'm the Plague. Zero Cool's like, I'm gonna do a little stretching here, so I like stretching outside. Oh, it's nice to like look at the trees while I'm doing this shit. That feels a little bit better. Hello, T. Ah, that feels a little bit better. Whew. What you think, Dave? Want to get your ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? I see your ball from here. You want me to go get it? Did you forget it? I'll find your ball. Come on. I see it right there. Come on. Come on. Let it go. Right there. See it? See your ball? Come on. Right here. Right here. Look what I found right here. It's your ball. It's your ball. Wow, wow. Come on, fetch it. You want to fetch it? Let's do it then. You ready? Let's go. Had to go on a ball hunt. One fetch, that's it. Okay. Come here. You are a mess. How did you get this dirty? Did you go roll in it? Did you go roll in the grass? Oh my goodness. You are covered head to toe in straw. What am I gonna do with you? How'd you get this messy? How'd you get this messy? It's baby talk. It has like the whole higher pitch thing. It's the same reason people talk to kids in a higher pitch a lot of times. It's like less threatening to animals. So when you address them like that, it lets them know that you mean them no harm. Or at the very least, puts that out there vocally. They are very small. Would be funny if animals took it the other way. I mean, maybe some do. I don't know. I know dogs and cats don't. Cricket loves it. Cricket hears his name and he comes a-trotting away. God damn it. This fucking chair fucked me up. Tried to kill a fly. Almost had one too. Already got one today though. Well, I'm out of here. Have a fun day. I'll see you later. Bye.